The marriage between Rose, Joséphine, and Alexandre de Beauharnais was an arranged one, typical of 18th century aristocratic and colonial families, orchestrated for social and financial advantage rather than romance. Background and the arrangement. Joséphine's paternal aunt, Edmée Désirée Tacheur de la Pagerie, lived in France as the longtime companion, mistress of the Marquis de Beauharnais, former governor of Martinique and Alexandre's father. To strengthen family ties and secure advantages, Edmée pushed for a marriage between one of her brother's daughters and the Marquis's legitimate son, Alexandre. Initially, the younger sister Catherine Désirée was chosen. Alexandre, born 1760, so about 17 to 19 at the time, reportedly found Rose, born 1763, age 16, too close in age and less ideal. Catherine's death from tuberculosis in 1777 changed this. After some hesitation, Alexandre accepted Rose. In late 1779, Rose sailed from Martinique with her father and arrived in France. The wedding took place on December 13, 1779, at Noisy-le-Grand, near Paris, in a rural parish tied to the family. The encounter and first impressions. Details of their very first meeting are sparse and not dramatically documented. It was more a matter of family introduction upon her arrival than a spontaneous romantic encounter. Alexandre, already somewhat experienced in Parisian society despite his youth, viewed the match pragmatically. He found the young Creole bride from the colonies somewhat disappointing in person. Rose, fresh from her relatively sheltered, happy-go-lucky plantation life, was struck by his appearance and status. Alexandre was described as graceful, attractive, and handsome, with elegant manners that appealed to women, though not particularly tall. She admired him and fell for the sophisticated aristocratic officer who represented the exciting world of France. Early letters from him showed some warmth, and she entered the marriage with affection and hope, seeing him as a charming husband. Alexandre's character as a womanizer contrasted with this. He had a strong preference for older, married, refined, and intellectually sophisticated women, such as his long-time association with Madame de Longpré, an older companion on voyages and a significant mistress. He enjoyed flattery, coquetry, and the thrill of conquests in high society, frequenting salons, brothels, and pursuing affairs that stroked his vanity. He was seen as vain, pedantic, influenced by his tutor Petricole, and more interested in his own pleasures and self-image than domestic fidelity. Disappointment and early married life. Alexandre quickly grew embarrassed by his young wife's provincial Creole manners, which he saw as clumsy, ignorant, and unsophisticated compared to the polished Parisian ladies he admired. He described her as somewhat plain or lacking in the exquisite elegance and intellectual depth he valued. She was not the refined, worldly match he had idealized. He attempted, briefly, to educate and reform her in dancing, poetry, writing, and etiquette to make her fit for society, but grew frustrated by what he perceived as her indifference or lack of aptitude. Rose, initially in love and eager to please, responded to his efforts but felt hurt by his criticism and neglect. She was affectionate, jealous, and desired a close, tender domestic life, qualities that clashed with his desire for freedom. He soon resumed a semi-bachelor existence, spending time away on military duties with his tutor or with mistresses, leaving her isolated.